Please take it away, Melissa.
So happy to be here with you all today and to talk about Breakthru. So Breakthru actually has been designed and developed in a really deep partnership with Microsoft, but not necessarily in the way that you would expect. Once upon a time, Breakthru was a tool that was being designed and developed in mixed reality. And what we were focusing on was the relationship between people's bodies and their minds in their work and school day. So how could we create experiences that would help people tap into the part of their brain that was in their body while they were at work or school? It was a pivot for us to launch as a Teams native app at the beginning of COVID, and it actually was at the invitation of Microsoft. We were seed funded in a baby way by the Teams team, and also, this is a true story, by leftover coffee budget from the Executive Briefing Center, because it had closed because of COVID. So surprise, surprise, we took it from mixed reality onto Teams, and today we're in actually over 39,000 organizations in 72 countries. And as a team that's quite small of developers making a Teams native app, the biggest gift to us of all in showing up on Teams is to reach such a broad audience, such a diverse audience, and so quickly. So what are we giving that audience? We are giving that audience a way of taking small 2-minute breaks right in the context of their main work or school tool, which is Teams, taking them in an interactive, movement-based way, 2 minutes long, and to use them in a way that's alone or together. And why? Why have we had so much traction so quickly? It really is because, and you all know this because you work with Teams every day, Teams has been at the forefront of redesigning the workplace and the workday in this shift to remote, in this shift to hybrid. So we're out in the world speaking to the same customers you talk to every day, but from a different vantage point. So there's science behind Breakthru. Research proves that humans need breaks, period. This is actually a friend's from their chiropractor, excuse me, from deep in COVID. And you can see the truth is that with or without balancing our laptops in our laps, we all, for the most part, during our workday, have a real problem with our posture, and that's not healthy for us. There's another piece. For men and for women, sitting persistently for more than 6 hours a day ups our chance of an early death because it's tagged to every chronic condition, from cancer to diabetes to obesity. So for women, 37% increase the chances of an early death. Well, so what do we do about it? And this is where it gets really interesting. And Microsoft has been publishing a lot of the richest research about this. If we just take micro breaks, so tiny breaks in the flow of our workday, that's your brain on the left-hand side, calm, ready to attack the next thing, able to context shift. If you take no breaks and you're 100% adrenaline, back to back to back to back, that's what you look like on the other side of the equation. And actually, this is research Microsoft published really early during COVID, and it's going crazy on LinkedIn today. So people are still having this conversation. So Breakthru cared about that, but another thing that we really cared about is that part of our brain is in our body. And when we sit still, we actually turn that part of our brain off. So that's why we made Breakthru. I am going to actually do a live demo with you guys right now. So let me stop sharing here and reshare my screen so I can show you how it works. Please feel free to ask questions as we go. And this is not meant to be formal in any way. In fact, quite the contrary, because what I really wish I could do right now is ask all of you to take a break, which maybe we will. So this is Breakthru inside Teams. Breakthru's breaks are mood-based. So each of them is 2 minutes long. And behind each of these doors is a whole series of breaks. So you don't just get 4 choices: confident, joyful, centered, energized. You get many, many, many choices. And in fact, we publish new breaks at least once a month. And for us, those are huge days of Dow in terms of people jumping on the app and wanting to try the new thing. After you play a Breakthru, it tracks your history. And so people love the ability to see, when have they been taking breaks? Are they taking enough breaks? What breaks are they choosing? We also have some gamification, so you'll see that there's streaks that you can win. in terms of how much you play. 22-day streak. I haven't gotten there yet because of holidays, etc. But challenges. You can set challenges with colleagues, and you can also set reminders. So I'm going to turn my camera off briefly and actually run a breakthrough so you can see how it works. And I'm going to invite all of you to stand up and do this breakthrough with me. I will tell you that we have a really strong meeting integration through Share to Stage, and I'll show you that at the tail end of this demo. But this way, you'll be able to see what the solo experience would be like. Also, for all of you, obviously, who are here or part of Microsoft, you should just grab Breakthru right now and download it if you don't have it, and then you can play it yourself. I'm going to choose Joyful. And so this is how it works. It's taking control of my camera. It doesn't record anything. Forgive the pause. We might actually have to do this via Share to Stage. Or I'm going to try one more time. Yeah, it's not gonna take control of my camera for me to be able to show you the individual plays, so I'll show you that in the Share to Stage. I want to actually now share some of the group functions that we have. So one of the things that's been really powerful with customers is that Breakthru appears across the entire platform, and so it's an extremely shareable app. And this is a really great tool for managers, for colleagues, for teachers, and for leaders to remind each other to take a break. So you can send any kind of break that you like. You can send it with a note. And this can go out in any chat or channel. So it could go to one person or it could go to thousands. We just launched a global pilot with SAP this week, and they're using this mechanism inside Teams itself as one of the dominant ways to launch the app. We also have had companies that choose to set a Teams challenge as a way to launch it company-wide. In fact, LinkedIn just let us know that they're going to do that in May. And you can send the welcome card inside Teams. So these shareable functions, a way of people being kind to each other during the workday, communicating in an informal way, the same way that they might with the context of a GIF or an emoji, has been a really profound reason that Breakthru has spread quickly. And lastly, I'm going to show you in the context of a meeting how we can add Breakthru to the meeting and play via Share to Stage. Are you guys able, actually, you know what? Bill, I might need your help in doing this. I can't, but because I don't have control of the meeting. So let's see if Bill can add it, and then we could all play via Share to Stage. And meanwhile, I'm going to go back to my deck and share some customer stories with you. Please let me know if there's any questions as I go.
Will do.
So just one more point about the part of our brain that's in our body. When you do take short breaks during the day, you literally can turn your metabolism back on. You can stimulate your ability to learn. You can stimulate your ability to think creatively. And if people move together by taking breaks at the beginning of meetings via Share to Stage, it's actually a way of building trust. And so today, as people think about forming hybrid teams, that component, that shared component of being able to use it in a meeting is very important to people. We hear things from users around the world, this idea of it being me time, it being presence that helps them when they're feeling overwhelmed. I'm going to see if this audio will play for you, but this is a...
Once COVID hit, we went...
Go ahead, Bill. It's a nurse who actually works predominantly from home. And her story of how Breakthru has worked for her, I think I wanted you to hear it in her own.
Completely 100%.
Right. I'm going to play it right now, okay?
Great.
So hold on just a second.
Once COVID hit, we went completely 100% work from home.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, oh, that's so great. But after a while, it starts getting really isolating. And, you know, I I wasn't eating lunch or even taking a break and just continuously working. I set the reminders, and I kind of at first just started doing them. And then I realized that it really does help improve your mood. Just moving around, I found, does improve your mood, I guess is my thing. Because if you just stay sitting and you're focused on one thing, you don't use all your senses, I think. Joyful is my favorite one. I just like how you like move fast, and I also like centered because you take deep breaths, things like that. I notice. My neck doesn't hurt as bad, for sure. And it just gives you more motivation maybe to move in general. So it just kind of, for me in general, sparked me to get moving in general, more. Because if you sit all day, you're exhausted. At the end of the day, you just want to sit more. And I found that this was a real simple way to just add some more activity into my day.
So the part that I'm leaving out is that Michelle found Breakthru, and this has been the case for us as we go around the world and we end up talking to the people that are making use of Breakthru in their workday. This is someone who had an incredibly stressful job in terms of looking at oncology reports all day long, who missed working with her colleagues, some in person, but whose daughter was actually involved in a school shooting at the beginning of COVID. And she's found through Breakthru a way to really take care of herself in a way that's helpful to her. And I bring that up because sometimes I think we all forget the intensity of jobs that a lot of the people that are being served by teams are doing. This is someone at a crisis response center who literally is on the phone with people thinking about suicide. And this moment of being able for those caregivers to stop and take their own breath is really important, to catch their breath. So I think it's sometimes easy to think about the work that we all know that we're doing on our own, perhaps as knowledge workers. We also work really, really hard. I mean, when we were inventing Breakthru and doing early tests with it, we were looking at adrenaline spikes, and engineers at Microsoft, and the adrenaline spikes were happening because people were holding their breath during their workday and they didn't even realize it. We were doing a test with the Marines at the same time, and they had the same adrenaline spikes, but for different reasons. So I think this idea that working hard is working constantly without a break is not, is totally proven to be incorrect. And so I think another way to think about Breakthru, it's a well-being tool, it's a work tool, it's also a productivity tool in terms of helping people stay focused at work. So that's a little bit in the voices of the end users. But one of the points that I want to make to all of you is that Breakthru's had just absurd level of traction in enterprise companies. And this is it landing in the hands. When we landed first at Home Depot, it was in call centers. And then people who were on the executive side of the equation started looking at it. And that's been a repeat story in many cases because it's purely been discoverable that people have found it. But so we're in a moment in time right now where we're essentially in some cases, very informal pilots with places because users have found it and embraced it and are making their own use of it. And then the goal for us, and hopefully in collaboration with you all, is to shift that to a real launch into real pilots. And why does that matter? It matters because we hear from our end users that no matter what they're told about their company caring about well-being, there's something really different about having an actionable tool that's simple, that's just sitting right there on their surface in their work tools and being gifted it by their company through an appropriate launch. And when that happens, people actually feel like they have permission to take a break. They need to know that from their manager. They need to know it from a leadership level. So for us, the experience, for example, of a global launch at SAP is really different than sneaking in the back door to some of these other places because people embrace it in a different way when they know that it's encouraged and allowed. I can talk a little bit about who our customer usually is inside environments, but one of the things I will say, which has been beautiful about being in this moment with teams, is that there's a blurred line that I believe is very important between HR, employee experience, employee learning, and modern work, digital transformation, and IT. And Teams sits at that epicenter of how do you create a work tool that's legitimately an employee experience tool, that's legitimately potentially a tool of well-being. And that's where, you know, Breakthru tries to sit in the ecosystem and what we really believe in and what we really love about the platform. And our end users are everyone, 72 countries, preschools in Poland, and grown-ups all over the world. But if you look at what they have in common, no matter what kind of work they're doing, these are the things they have in common. They're overscheduled, they're in chronic pain, they're living with extreme stress, they feel isolation, they're an entry-level worker who hasn't really gotten to meet the employee experience or the culture of their company because they've started remote. Or they're frontline workers and caregivers who are trying to take care of others at a time where others feel extreme stress. And then down there at the bottom, engineers and knowledge workers. We all need this too.
Hi, Melissa, I have a question.
Hi.
When I added the app, I saw there's an option to subscribe and then to play. Can you give us a little bit of idea of what comes as part of like the freemium and then what is the subscription base, or is all of it starts with subscription?
Yeah, so Breakthru has, it's essentially the same product. There's no freemium premium. We have a 30-day free trial. And post that, we do look to the corporations whose employees are using it to pay.
This is great. A very common question is, please tell us about any plans for supporting GCC or other government clouds. And if there's none, that's okay. We just need to know how we promote this to our government customers. And do you have any government customers now in GCC?
Yeah, we have a ton of government organizations using it today. Not people that we've directly contacted and to try to expand it with, though we'd be very, very interested. But since the beginning of our launch, we've had cities all over the world using it. I have judges using it. It's state governments are using it, and they're just discovering it in the context of Teams. It is 100% on our roadmap for us to hit all of the compliance issues that we need to be official with government contracts, but we have not done it yet. We are GDPR compliant, and we are almost done with our Microsoft certification for the privacy, et cetera. But our data pool is very, very slight. And so we honestly haven't encountered dilemmas when we go through that side of getting Breakthru permissioned. And, you know, SAP would be an example of that, because that's a tough one to get through just because of the Germany as the key location and all of the laws that come along with that.
Thank you so much for presenting. And it's such a cool product. I'm so glad we've got it integrated in Teams. Thank you so much, Melissa, and congratulations on the success of Breakthru.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you so much for having us.